To you saying that, going back to the article, it takes me back to the article. And one of the things I was thinking about is like what what customers want isn't always necessarily what they need. And so again, this app doing research on customers, a customer can tell you all day what they want, but then the app data would tell you what they really need, which led me to think that most of the time we don't know what we want. Um, and so the pro to these companies gathering data on us is that they can help sell us what we actually need because we don't know what we want. So my question to you is what has been your experience in selling customers what they want versus what they need, or what are your thoughts on that whole concept?
I think the difference, the real difference, is what customers actually want versus what they say they want. Now, the difference between want and need, I guess that's more of a product differentiate. Like, do they need a fridge to keep their food cold so it doesn't spoil? Yes. Do they want the one with the special ice maker? So it's like, so in that case, it's just how do you, it may be like regular item versus luxury item. But I think the biggest one going back to is what you want versus what you say you want, and you may not always honestly, even to yourself, you're not going to be honest with what you actually truly want. For example, you could say, I want to have a, I am saying, Chris, I want a sparkling water today. But in reality, I want a Don Julio. I'm just not being honest about it. I want you, there's like this social pressure, maybe potentially, and it could go the other way, by the way. I
Right.
want a sparkling water, but I'll take a tequila because that's the social pressure. Um, yeah, I mean, what do you think about that?
Yes, and yes, and to add to that, um, I don't think that we always. Let's. I'll use my story. I don't. I used to be terrible at dating. Like in high school and all that, it was easier because I played sports and people knew me and blah blah blah. That helped, right? Then I go to college and I'm not the big dog on campus by any means. Nobody knows me. Actually, I have to actually talk to women and be interesting. Imagine that. And I wasn't. I wasn't. I would find every single way to sabotage any scenario. I didn't know what I was doing. And so there was this one story to me. I'll be really quick. I was at a bar. Probably told you this before. I'm going to tell everybody. I was at a bar by myself. I used to teach, and this was the summer, and I had nothing going on. It was a random Wednesday or Thursday night. Went out to the bar, and I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm dressed up. I'm going to try to meet some girl or whatever." And I'm at the bar having a drink. I see this girl dancing, dancing. I'm watching her. Right, I get enough drinks to get the courage to walk up to her and talk. And I have the drink, the third, fourth drink at that point. I walk up to her in a really small voice. I'm like, "Hey, hey," I forgot what I said. Something stupid like, "Hey, you got a man?" or "Hey, you want to dance?" Real soft, real dumb. She's having to lean in to hear me and all that. And she leans back and quite loudly says, "You need to work on your game." And then she walks over to this guy and starts like twerking on him while she's maintaining eye contact with me. I will never forget that moment. The very next day, I went home, Googled how to meet women. It was David D'Angelo document came up. Shout out to Eben Pagan, changed my life. But Eben, he and in that whole like pickup artist world, what they were selling you is like basically how to have sex, right? They're selling you how to meet girls, and that's all the marketing. But when you get the material, it's like, hey, actually, you just need to be confident. And here's how you display confidence. And here's how you work on confidence. So to me, I thought I just wanted to know how to pick up girls. But no, really, Chris, you just need to work on yourself and believing in yourself and being confident in yourself. And so I am living testament in that scenario where we don't know what we want. We think we know what we want, but there's something else we need to get what we want.
Yeah, that reminds me of the I think the common issue that a lot of us face in the U.S. in 2024 is we're always or many of us are chasing more and more money, but what are we going to do with the actual money? Are we going to hold it in
Mm-hmm.
cash and like yeah, bathe in it, and that's what we really wanted. No, it's probably the goods and services that those that money provides, or maybe it's the security that the money provides that we really wanted, but we don't even think about it. It's just, and maybe this is even a like an instinctual thing of we just need to accumulate as much as possible forever, and without thinking about what it is that we truly want. And we don't think about it. So it's up to these brands now and us as the marketers to think about it. And the copywriters from the 80s and 70s, like the real OGs of the business, all their books are all about this: is put yourself in the shoes of the customer, and then actually think about what it is that you want, and then sell to them that way, because it's deep down in there somewhere. For you, deep down, it was you needed the more confidence, and it was going to change your life in not just meeting girls to hook up with, but in your other relationships, your business relationships,
Yes.
with yourself, with everybody. So that's what you truly wanted, and but you didn't know how to articulate it. A lot of times you'll hear somebody speak, and you'll say yes, yes, everything yes to what they're saying. It's like you're reading my mind, but what they're doing isn't reading your mind. They're actually putting words to those desires that are floating around unorganized in your mind. Uh, so that's what they're doing. I'm curious what Don Julio now is planning on doing, because like, they're actually one of my favorite brands of tequila. If I'm going to drink tequila, I like Don Julio. So I'm curious where they're going with this.
Yeah, you and me both. I have being a Texas boy here, you drink a lot of whiskey, and I found out that whiskey and me don't agree. But a good Blanco tequila, I can drink four of those and be okay the next day. I don't really drink them, but I am interested in what they're going to do with it, and also continue this thing. This something else I got from this article, or just, and it goes along with what we just said, was, man, I don't, I'm to the point where I don't think we really know what we want most of the times. And shout out to Ryan Levesque, because I think he's the one who originally said this. Ryan Levesque is in Front Row Dads too, a real cool guy. I like him a lot. But he has a book called Ask, and Ask, that there's 2 points that I took from it, was that people don't, we don't know what we want, right? That's not the point. But the 2 points are, we know what we didn't like, and we know what caused us pain. So I think for Don Julio, I don't know how you do this in the tequila world, whatever, but people don't know what they want. And if you're getting data on them, great. But if you talk to people, they'll tell you what they did not like, and they will tell you their pain points. And so structuring, I've kept that. Anytime I structure any type of quiz or funnel that's asking questions, it's not about what they want. It's, I need to figure out what you don't like and what caused you pain, and then build stuff around that.
Wow, that's a really good idea. I'm wondering, for any local business, probably they could do the same thing. Instead of polling their customers or asking the customers for reviews, typically looking for the best thing about them, ask them what they didn't like. That makes so much sense. And then you can actually fix that.
And you'll learn so much, because people will quickly tell you what went wrong or what frustrated them. They can quickly recall that.
Yes. That is a good point. I'm thinking about, and you as a writer probably can relate to this, is that any draft that you review that somebody else wrote, it's typically, oh, I don't like this or that or this. This is where I need to change it. You're skipping past the things that you actually do like, because it's the negative things that draw your attention.
Yes. Yeah. And then and me as a writer, that's what helps me. Even in these podcasts, I didn't come to you. And when we talked about these podcasts, Dimitri, I don't come to you saying, hey, what do you like about what I'm doing on there? I might say, hey, Dimitri, where can I get better? I think we're just geared towards that period of what we don't like, what causes pain, what could be better. That stuff just stands out to us uh, a bit more easily.
Yeah, and we as humans typically don't want to hear other people being critical of ourselves. So we don't want to hear what we are doing, what others don't like about us. But and we also don't know what we want. And so these brands, any brand from Apple to Don Julio to your local business, has an opportunity to influence your customers into being interested in what you have to sell, but then also tapping into their deep desires to then ultimately close the sale. In this case, looks like what they're actually partnering with Apple Vision Pro to watch whatever the customers are doing, how they're behaving to tap into those deep desires. I'm okay. Look, aside from the crazy, creepy Big Brother, all that AI stuff, this sounds pretty cool. It actually sounds really cool because we're gonna get served better ads, personalized ads, and brands like Don Julio are going to be even more exciting to us potentially. It'll be even more fun to have that drinking experience because I bet you, I don't know if you've ever done this, I'd be curious to maybe do this with you one day, but 99%, unless you're a sommelier of some kind, you pour some other type of tequila in a Don Julio bottle, you're probably not going to tell the difference. But there's a difference in your experience drinking top shelf Don Julio versus plastic bottle tequila.
Absolutely. I used to, back in the day when I was younger, I'd buy, remember Grey Goose vodka? And they'd have these huge bottles. I bought it once, like a big, huge Grey Goose, it's basically marketing because the bottle was huge. Then I'd go buy like some $20 Svedka vodka, two of those, fill it up. And at the party, we had this big thing of, of Grey Goose, and it was a deal because you had to pick it in two hands, and it was experience, and it's Grey Goose, and that absolutely added to the vibe of the party because we're all drinking Grey Goose out of a huge bottle, not Svedka vodka. The whole placebo effect is real, man.
Dude, that is very real. And if you go on eBay right now, you can find any empty bottle that you want, and some of them go for hundreds of dollars. By the way, if you want Casa Azul Extra Añejo, the black bottle, it's going to cost you probably $150 just to have an empty bottle, because probably people want to put it on their shelves, social proof. Look, I had one, I drank it, it happens to be empty. Or like in your case, which we're just going to enhance this party, and I think which is like, I think kind of okay for like college age type of
Yeah.
experiences. At some point, you don't want to get caught. You don't want to get caught doing that.